submit into your care. Because if you're not there in it, we recognize that it's futile and meaningless. So Lord, in some small way in this meeting, God, we pray that we would continue the tradition of creating a more perfect union. God, that we would create and facilitate a community where people and children would grow up and maybe want to also serve their country. God, we pray all of these things in your Son's precious name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Donaldson.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Liam, will you please call the roll?
Member Vaughn.
Here.
Member Orr. Here. Member Wyrick.
Here.
Member Matheny. Member McCleister.
Here.
Member Pratt.
Here.
Member Stocker.
Here.
6 present.
I'll make a motion to excuse Member Matheny. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the motion carries. Is there a motion to approve as presented the minutes from the May 11th, 2026 City Council and the May 18th, 2026 Committee of the Whole and City Council meetings?
I would make the motion to approve the minutes.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries as well. So at this time, council invites Chief of Police Frank Kemp, Administrative Specialist Jennifer Cross, and Council Clerk Liam Ott to the floor for a special presentation on the Speed Management and Enforcement Dashboard.
Liam, you just want to stay right there, keep on the meeting. Vice President?
Yes.
I can say that. Members of council, thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here to talk about one of our new initiatives that we've been working on. Really, it started out, the idea of this kind of started out as we do the speed studies in the neighborhoods and we gather all this data. And a lot of times the residents call in, they never see the data that we catch on the backside. So I was looking for a landing page to put that out there on our website for it to be available. Through the involvement of Jennifer, Liam, Officer Jabara, Major Buzzard, kind of grew into its own initiative that has future potential to it. So Drive Safe North Canton is our theme behind this because it's not just speed, it's operation at stop signs, it's operations at traffic lights, it's utilizing your seatbelts. So we created a poster that we can use, maybe in the future print some good copies of this and get it out there into our community where people see it and we message it. Because our duty as police officers is not just enforce the law. Our responsibility is also to try to educate the public as we do it. So with the assistance of the group that I've mentioned, we came up with the initial poster for this, which gives us a QR code in the bottom of it that takes you to our city website. And as we move over to the city website, this is what the beginning of the page looks like when you land there. The very first thing is a chart that was put together by Liam Ott. We provide information from our CAD system to Liam. Liam takes that and puts it into the Power BI.
Power BI, yes.
I'll let you explain that, Liam.
Yep, so obviously you go to the police page and over here under speed management enforcement will take you to this page. So this will open up an interactive graphic. So right here is the Power BI dashboard. You can full screen this. So this works on both mobile phone and on desktops. And this is fully interactive and you can't break it. So feel free to play around with it and click around. So let's say, we want to see traffic stops per month in January. So we see 219 stops in January, but then we can even break this down further by clicking on one of the bar columns. And that will divide that into our high traffic stop areas and subdivide all of those stops. And you can see down the line where the stops occur. Same thing in accidents per month. So say we want to look at February, they have a total of 35 in February. By clicking on that column, it subdivides all of these into smaller groups. So accident areas over here, you can see that there were 4 on East Hill, for example. But it also breaks out into the type of accident, whether that was just your standard accident, something like a bumper to bumper rear ending, whether it was a hit skip or if there were injuries. And then even smaller is hit skip with injuries, because we've only had 1 this year. So this is a constantly evolving graph. So as we get new data each month from the police department, I'm able to clean that up and put that into this system. It will automatically update once I hit publish internally, and then that's visible for everyone out there to take a look at, analyze. And this just kind of helps make it easy to understand, to see. Obviously our high traffic areas are going to be our main roads. So North Main, South Main, and Apple Grove, and that's both sides of Apple Grove separated out. This is just a nice, easy way for you to access that data and see what the police department's up to, and just be able to see where everything's really happening.
Does that also tell you if a ticket was issued or not?
This doesn't specifically, just because it was a little bit more granular than we wanted to be for the public's sake. Those are things that could certainly be looked into
Whether
for
a
future.
ticket's issued or whether a written warning is issued, it has a enhancing effect, because anytime we make a traffic stop on a roadway, it has lights and visibility with us being out there. And there's that additional public influence that we get from the traffic stops. So we figured what we were posting was getting the importance of we are out there making the traffic stops, whether the officers issue a ticket or whether they issue a warrant. If somebody wants that more granular numbers, we do post that data in our annual reports. But on a regular monthly page, if I live on Woodrow and I'm looking to see how many traffic stops occurred on Woodrow, if they want the visibility of the cruisers making traffic stops on Woodrow, that is what influences behavior, because we are seen in the area. Whether it's a ticket or whether it's a warning, it doesn't matter, because I will tell you personally, I have lowered my threshold in some areas. When we get complaints and it's around the schools, I will justify my officers making a more strict traffic stop. That does not mean that I influence where they write a ticket. I influence where they initiate a traffic stop. And it's their discretion whether it's at the consistency's sake for them, whether they write the ticket or whether they write the warrant.
So, for example, to Chief Kemp's point, I scrolled down through the list and found Woodrow Street Northwest and clicked on that bar. There were 14 this year, 7 of which were in April, 5 in March, and 2 in February. So you can see that they are out there on Woodrow. But also, as a grand total, all of these so far added up is 1,234. So in the first 4 months of the year, they made 1,234 traffic stops. So I think that, to his point, that paints a picture of they are actively out there working every single day and every single month, and that's reflected here.
They had a community up in Cleveland. I don't know if it was in the Cleveland area. I don't know if it was Beechwood or Cleveland Heights. On your speed, you are going. If they were going 9 miles over, it would click it. They somehow filmed it and they got a ticket sent.
There are different tools out there, but that's a decision to have a more detailed discussion on.
Okay.
As to whether we need to use those tools. Do we have some proof that maybe those tools might be of assistance? It could be, but in those communities, when you're talking about using the tool, I think one you may be referring to is Dragonite. That tool does. It is an officer that's operated by them. It is a handheld laser, and it gives a picture of the plate. The officer operates the radar laser system, so it's fully connected. It's not an automated system. It sends them a ticket in the mail. Never did the traffic stop. Never did the secondary effect of having a traffic stop on the roadway, because there's no visibility. there's also less room for there to be any conflict between the officer and the driver on a heavy traffic area. Take Apple Grove and Everhart. When we go up there, we do traffic on Apple Grove and Everhart. If we're up there at the busy times of the day, those busy times when we get out there and we do traffic on that roadway, we just make it that much more congested by being out there. So there is a traffic pattern to them being up. But we do try to be visible up there. We make traffic stops and have an influence. But when you get close to the intersection, that increases your congestion and chance for creating secondary accidents because we would have a traffic stop close to an intersection. So we try to, when they're up there doing enforcement action, they try to not turn their lights on until they're further down the roadway so that we can get them to turn off on stop. That's it. That is something that we could have a future discussion on whether or not it's worth going into that realm. Some communities, that move is contentious. Bring some conversation. Please, if that answers your question.
Yeah. Thank you.
That said, I do think that there's some information on the website that also helps paint some of those pictures, so I'll hand that over to Jennifer to talk about the website portion.
Thank you, Liam. So as Chief Kent mentioned, we kind of approached this project with two primary objectives. The first was to make a user-friendly public hub for the NCPD's traffic data for our community to explore. And then the second would be to provide that broader driving safety initiative, establish that for the NCPD so that they can share informational and educational resources with the community to promote safe driving. So Liam's traffic data dashboard is a great example of the interactive portion of that NCPD data. In addition, if we scroll down the page to our speed stats and surveys section, we've actually broken down these speed surveys taken by the NCPD over the last couple of years by street. So if you see a street that you're interested in learning more about, what kind of data was collected, you can click on it and it will expand into the breakdown of when the survey was taken, what the average speeds were, when as the survey was being conducted, and whether there were any planned solutions or approach from the NCPD based off of the data that they found, whether that's increased patrols, that kind of presence that Chief Kent was mentioning that encourages people to keep an eye on their speeds as they're going through these areas. And it also includes some helpful definitions off to the left there for those of us that aren't as fully engrossed in the industry, immersed in the industry rather, to know what exactly we're talking about when we say 85th percentile speed or average speeds in a particular area. Beyond the data.
Jennifer, if I can interject on it. The one thing about that, in that section, it goes to the 85th percentile, so that is what the largest volume of traffic in that area is traffic. We did not post high scores. We did not post the fastest speed limit that we've had on that street. That is not in this data. We know that there is a percentage, and we had to, for the equipment that we used 11 miles an hour over the limit. To set it as that's the trigger point that we consider a violation for measuring the data. So when you see that, anything over the speed limit is 11.0 is where that gets tricky. As you alluded to in some communities, 9 was the number they used for our equipment. We use a lot.
And speaking of that equipment, another thing featured on this website is a little bit of background information on the tools and activities that the NCPD uses in order to uphold those speed laws throughout the city. So that includes, you'll see a map here of all of our radar speed signs that will actively measure your speed as you're passing them and compare it to the posted speed limit on that particular street. I believe we have 28.
I'll take your word for it.
There's a number a little further down the lane, but we'll scroll a bit further, somewhere along there. Let's see, was the caption at the top? Did we skip it? We did.
Yep, 20.
28. Yes, so those are the solar powered signs that we see in some of those key streets that help people check their driving in real time. In addition to those program again, all the locations are listed. The NCTD also uses a couple of speed trailers that are mobile that they can use to respond to complaints in certain areas that they may receive from residents. The stealth staff, which is a little more of a low-key option. In many cases, if people recognize that they're being measured, it's not a true measurement of what they're really going to do when they don't think anyone's looking. So the stealth stat is there to catch an honest view of what the speeds are on that road, whether everyone's, obeying within a reasonable range or whether we might need some more activity in that area. And then, of course, the officer patrols with our radar speed guns. I believe the figure there is about 33% of annual calls for service for traffic related items. Yes, they're certainly out on the streets and they use that combination of in-person patrol and those various tools to try to get a comprehensive view of what the city's looking like. Then beyond that, when we talk about that broader driving safety initiative, this page acts as kind of a home for a variety of information, educational resources on some key driving safety topics. Whether that be what Liam's showing here, a little bit on the ins and outs of speed limits, who sets them, what are the different limits based off of the type of street that you're on. Obviously, we always recommend that you follow the posted speed limit first and foremost. The signs are there for a reason. But some of those frequently asked questions that we may receive from drivers we try to address in these areas. Just some key statistics on why safe speeds are so important when you're on the road. And then we go a little further down the page. We also have a section for our driving safety spotlights. This will be a place where we can put more information on those frequently asked questions or those topics of interest that come up from season to season surrounding driving safety. So you'll see here so far we have some background info on bicycle safety, the signs and signals that bicyclists will use, and the reminder to share the road with our drivers. Then there's also information on our e-bikes and versus e-motorbikes, what the differences are, to make sure that people know what the laws are and that they're operating those safely, and as well as some information on seat belts as well. So this page is going to be an evolving resource for the community. It's going to be updated on a rolling basis, like Liam mentioned. As new data and new topics become available, they'll be housed here, and the community can check it at any time. It's live at northcantanohio.gov/drivesafenc or under our police department page. Overall, we're just hoping it'll be a helpful resource to kind of promote safe driving throughout the community and make sure that North Canton remains a safe place to travel in for everyone.
We want to make sure it's a positive message that we get out there. Drive safely in North Canton. We want you to be safe. We want you to be careful. We want you to take your time. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so
That's
much.
great, thank you.
That's good.
That's fantastic information. Thank you guys for sharing. And thank you, Chief, and
Thank you for the time.
Liam and Jennifer, and whoever else was involved with putting it together. I did have one thing that I wanted to bring up, and I think I know the answer, but maybe for those in the audience or those out in YouTube land. If somebody has a concern about speeding, because I know I fielded a lot of these from different residents, you brought up Woodrow.
Yes.
And so if somebody has a concern about speeding, what is the best way to convey that to the police department so they can be monitored?
They can reach out to a regular non-emergency number,
Mhm.
and they can put in a request for speed trailer or speed monitoring. Typically, what we do in our approach is we go into an area that we have not been in, we will try to get a stealth staff in.
Mhm.
Now, we have one stealth staff that we purchased in the last couple of years, and our older ones, we've kind of retired down their older technology, and they were well over 10 years old. So we just have one stealth staff that we go around the different neighborhoods to get a read on what the traffic is doing. Our officers will still go out and do enforcement during patrol shifts because we make them aware of it. But before we put an electronic sign out there, we want to get that measurement. We want to see truly what traffic's doing. If you look at the stats in our city when people are complaining about speeds, it typically on any of our given streets, it's less than 5% of the traveling traffic on the street is speeding.
Mhm.
And I think the majority of our streets are right around that 2% of the traveling traffic is speeding on the street. And that's, I consider that, we're doing pretty good. We're not talking
Okay.
double digits, we're talking really getting into the nitty gritty when we're trying to find the violators, because it is a safety concern for the neighborhood.
Certainly.
Threshold for more interest and response from those at anything above 1%.
Anything above 1% is where we'll do an active patrol push to get into an area. If we read an area and it's less than 1%, if somebody's complained about it, we will spend some time in that area. But then it's just gonna be something for our officers to be aware of, hey, from time to time, check this street. But when people do call in and they do have concerns about speed, what really helps us is if we know the time of day. If you can give me 20-minute time blocks for me to have the officers show up at, that helps us to narrow and be efficient in our use of time.
Perfect, good information, thank you.
We had, when we removed some of those stop signs on Satellite, I had a lot of calls, they're speeding. And I went out there after you guys did, and I thought, well, it looks like they're speeding, but I sat there for 2.5 hours and I didn't see that much. So you did, the stuff you do is
The width of a roadway, whether the roadway has curves, can give the appearance that traffic is moving faster than what you would expect it to.
right.
Narrow roadways have that effect on it, and so do curves.
I think this goes a long ways to really demonstrate that our police department is taking this topic seriously. You know, I think it's really easy for some citizens to just randomly say, you know, nobody's out patrolling, nobody's pulling anybody over. And I think this demonstrates the opposite of that. And, you know, I think it's great to have that information available to the public. So this is fantastic. Thank you.
And if the community does want to look into more details,
Yeah.
data further than this, the annual reports are also available on the website that go over an entire year's worth of data from each of our departments.
That's great.
And I'd also,
We built this to be able to be, you know, if we would have funding for it. You know, I can see that Drive Safe More Canton becoming a sticker that we have with us when we go someplace and have a handout. I can see those flyers, if we had some of those made up on a little heavier stock, that, you know, the community would be able to come to us and say, you know, hey, can we get one of those? We'd like to put one of those in the front window of our shop.
Mhm.
It lends itself to that, and with the QR codes on it, it really makes it easy for people to find that information.
To that point, you know, as I look over to our friends in the administration, maybe that's something we could have, you know, on the table for like Main Street Festival, things like that. So I think that'd be great information.
Yeah.
Have it part of your booth that you're always at the Main Street Festival.
There you go.
I was gonna,
a great idea.
yeah, I was gonna comment on the branding too. I think the branding is fantastic.
Mhm.
And I love that it's proactive and, just a positive way to go about
It took
this.
us a little bit to get to
Yeah.
that, but I think we found the right mix of something that pops, something that ties to our community, because when you come into our community, you see those pillars. And we want you to be able to travel through our community safely. And we also we're a very active pedestrian type community. We want everybody to enjoy it.
It is, following up on what you said, it's informative, but I've always appreciated what your approach to proactive safety is.
Mhm.
You do that differently than a lot of other communities do, and I think our community really appreciates that. This is phenomenal. Well done, all of you.
Yeah, good job.
Yep, good job. Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Lena.
Absolutely.
Right, so next up, we have recognition of the public for legislation that's on the agenda, but no one signed up for that. Okay. Moving on to old business. Liam, will you please read the title of ordinance 19-2026?
an ordinance amending chapter 163, contracts and purchasing, specifically subsection 163.04A, purchases and contracts over the bidding threshold of the codified ordinances of the city of North Canton to remove the requirement of a voice vote of council for approval of contracts and purchases following Board of Control approval to align more closely with the Board of Control's charter defined authority and ensure the timely approval of contracts and purchases.
Right. Member Pratt, I don't know if you have been, we're on the third reading, but anything additional to add?
Yeah, basically, this would just be doing away with the current way, which requires it going back to council after the Board of Control looks at it. It does away with that. It would stop with the Board of Control then. However, the Board of Control at the next council meeting would bring, I guess, forward notes or minutes from what was handled at that meeting, just as kind of a public acknowledgement. That's basically the change. It's just aligning more with the charter itself.
Edmund, anything else to add?
I think we've covered it all.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the third reading of ordinance 19-2026?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Liam, will you please read the title of ordinance 23-2026?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Canton, upon Board of Control approval, to enter into a guaranteed maximum price agreement with Beaver Constructors Incorporated for the construction of a new fire station at a cost not to exceed $11,469,883.89 and declaring the same to be an emergency.
All right, Member McLeister, this one's yours.
All right, well, fantastic. This is our second reading of this item, and as it's described in what we have just described, this is the maximum price that shall not be exceeded. We know that it is the ceiling for the purchase of our new fire station, and I'm not aware of any changes, Jim, nothing new. And I think we're also looking tonight, we would like to pass this tonight. It is on emergency. I would like to just move this forward and just be moving towards the groundbreaking for the facility. So I don't have any other questions that I've heard from anybody. Does anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts, anything? So, all right, so with that, I would make the motion that we adopt the second reading or pass the second reading of ordinance 23-2026.
Okay, I'll make the second on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. I then will make a motion to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And is there a motion to adopt ordinance 23-2026 under suspension of the rules?
Motion.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Okay, so now we are on to the second recognition of the public, but no one signed up for that either. All right, you guys are making this easy on me today. All right. Then we're just moving on to department reports. Is that right, Liam? Okay. All right, Mayor Stroy.
All right. Start with Memorial Day, the parade. I thought it went off really well. So I want to thank the Lions and Joe Chevrolet, who just does an amazing job organizing that. And I feel like that was the most efficient parade that we had. I think we were done. I've never been all the way up at the beginning. So I think I was done in 21 minutes. Fantastic. It was great, but I thought it was really well attended and really appreciated the ceremony and everything afterwards as well. So coming up, we've got the Mayor's Fishing Rodeo. I'm super psyched about that. It starts at 8 a.m. and that is Saturday. So I want to thank the Eagles for putting that together. And I never really understood why that was so exciting to the previous mayors until you became a mayor. And now I get it. I always remember Dave Bell like being super excited about the fishing rodeo. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. So that's going to be fun. And then the Brews Bourbon and Barbecue Festival is, does that start at noon? Do we know what time that
It's
starts?
5 o'clock for VIPs.
Oh,
It's 6 o'clock
okay.
for
All right.
regular.
Geez. Okay. I'm way off.
You
So.
just holiday spot a ticket.
Yeah, no, but I'm looking forward to that as well. So that's all I have for now. So thank you.
All right, thanks. Director of Administration.
Mayor said everything I would say. Great Memorial Day parade. Looking forward to starting the summer off with the mayor's fishing rodeo. And I will not have a report tonight because I want to yield some time. We have our new our parks. You know, we talked about this position so much. Here he is now live in person of the Parks Planning and Development Administrator, Mike Elkins. So I will save my time. So when he gets a chance to talk, he can tell you a little bit more about himself.
Great. All right, Deputy Director of Administration.
I will follow Catherine's lead and do this day.
For all my-
No pressure, Mike.
No, you guys have done it twice.
Yeah.
I proceed.
To speak for a minimum of 5 minutes.
Nice to meet you all. Mike Elkins is, what they call me since birth. I've spent 28 years with the city of Green, more than 30 years really in public service, all the way back to when I was a teenager in the city of Aurora. And I just want to commend the administration. I want to commend city council and the entire community of North Canton. There's a proverb that many of you know, where there is no vision, the people perish. And so this community has done a great job with strategic planning for the city and now for the parks with this master plan. And I'm excited to be part of this very talented team. Thank you for your trust in my ability, my leadership, to help bring this vision that the community of North Canton has put on paper will bring this to life. So I'm really looking forward to working with each and every one of you in all the different organizations in North Canton.
Thank you. Can I just reference a Taylor Swift song and say it's been a long time coming? We're so grateful to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Deputy Director of Finance, Jim. Okay. Director of Law. Council Clerk.
I'll just keep following suit and no report.
Moving along.
Okay.
Not all.
Ward 1, Member McLeister.
Well, I would say no report, but that's just be kidding. So I do have a couple things. So, I don't know if anybody found something in their mailbox today. North Canton Sun, and I see Jennifer smiling back there because I'm going to thank her. So she's done an amazing job. I think it's kind of been a re-rollout, and I know Mayor Stroy and I have talked about it at length. I'm glad that these hit a little bit differently, have useful information. And I also want to thank finance because I think between us, we had discussions earlier in the year about having more financial information in these. So I don't want to say month, but this edition talked a little bit about property tax and stormwater funding, which I thought was a great little article. And then if you scroll a little bit further back, behind the budget, volume 2 talks about streets and sewers. So definitely check this out. I think you did a fantastic job with this. So, well, certainly. So, I also want to talk about May 22nd. Big shout out to Catherine for throwing together for Public Works Appreciation Week. And I was joined, or I guess we were all joined together with so Jeff Stocker, Andy Pratt, myself, and Holly Pierpont. And we joined Catherine, let's see, who else was there? Catherine and I think Terry was there from the administration. And we got, I'm sorry?
Mike, my last name.
Yes, well, yeah, Matt Marr, yeah, certainly, yes. Yeah, so we were all able to cook breakfast for our service center employees. And I just have to say, that was probably the most fun Friday morning I've had in quite a long time. So I just want to send you a big thank you for putting that together so we could, show our city employees a little appreciation. So
They also wanted to thank you, the service. I think I might have told you, I don't know if I told you all of you, but they said that is the first time city council members have ever come down there and done something like that for them, and they really appreciated it.
well,
You went off with Matt to look at the milling machine, and that's when I had a chance to talk to them, and they were asking who you were, what ward, and I got a chance to tell them. So thanks for doing it.
well, I'm not just saying it, I'm already looking forward into next year. So
All right.
I think it was a blast. So also wanted to touch on Memorial Day. Don't want to belabor the point too much since Mayor Stroy touched on it, but fantastic parade. Big shout out to the North Canton Lions. I also wanted to throw out, as a Ward 1 resident, I'm sure lots of people drive by Whittier and Portage and saw all the American flags that were lined up along Portage. So every year, his name is Jim, and I'm probably going to mess up the last name. Big House.
Yeah.
Yep. does a fantastic job. And I've driven by slow like a creeper the last couple times I've gone past his house, because I was hoping he was gonna be out and, be able to say thanks, but, I just think that he does a fantastic job. I'm looking forward to July 4th and seeing, his next flag display. So big shout out to him.
Really nice.
And that's all I have this evening.
All right, we'll go to Ward 4, Member Orr.
All right, well, not too much happened. I got a couple of calls from some residents seeing us in the parade, and they were very happy. So thanks for the whole council. We were in the parade. Hopefully I didn't drive the golf cart too fast. The city crews are doing a great job in Ward 4. I drove past the golf course and went by the pickleball courts. Everything seemed really nice back there. Across the street, my ward is at the park, and we're drawing a lot of people at that park right now. Playing softball down there, the girls and stuff, and it's really quite an attraction for our city, the park there. Other than that, Liam and I got a couple calls. We took care of those. Nothing really major, but that's my report.
Okay, Member Pierpont.
Okay, well, thank you for everyone that came out tonight. I want to thank Chief Kemp and Jennifer and Liam. That report was fantastic. I do think that's gonna be an excellent tool, so thank you. Welcome, Mike. Looking forward to all the opportunities ahead. I wanted to I'll go in chronological order here because we haven't been here in 2 weeks. So back on the 21st, I attended the North Canton EMS conference. Those guys rolled out the welcome mat to me. I just came and I listened while people came from departments all over Northeast Ohio. And they used those to gain credits towards certification renewals. So there were like 6 or 7 topics that day. They were all over the place, from like cardiac issues to pediatric trauma and other things. And I think my biggest takeaway from that event was that our guys and girls are not only out there addressing the immediate medical needs of our citizens, but they're looking ahead of that. They're doing a lot of things and making a lot of decisions that could impact the future of our citizens. And what I mean by that is they may identify some rough situations like child abuse, elder abuse, mental health crises, and things like that. And, I haven't really given a lot of thought about that until that day. And I got to hear the experts talking about it. So that much more respect for those people. So thank you for letting me attend that. That was fantastic. We did serve breakfast for Public Works. Thank you for coordinating, Catherine. That was a lot of fun for us. We did get to talk to Superintendent of Streets, Matt Morrow. He did give us a tour again. It was kind of another touch a truck experience for us grown-ups. We got to see the new milling machine. And then like my eyes must have lit up like it was Christmas, because he said, by the way, my guys are going to start working on Pershing Avenue Northeast next week. And I was like, yes, these guys, I was excited. And so I will go there and say, I have been watching that, and it is progressing, and it's amazing what they're doing so quickly. So thank you very much. I know I've been very critical of that, so made me very excited to see. Memorial Day Parade, thanks to the Lions org for heading that up, and he's not here, but we'll thank David for coordinating, getting all of us together. That was fun. My Apple Watch thought I was getting a workout chasing you in the cart, but it was good. So that was a lot of fun. It was neat to see all the people out, all the kids in all their patriotic clothes. That's a great perspective, being in the parade and seeing that. Other than that, there's been some discussions going on. I know I myself, and I know Councilmember Pratt, we've been talking about all the e-bike talk in the community, and I know there's a lot of work being done. Liam, you're heavily involved. So thank you to those of you who have met with us. We just kind of want to support that cause and put some more teeth around legislation if we can. So hopefully we'll see something in the near future if we're able to do that. And I'm also working with legal and Liam on trying to put together some safety in the parks type legislation. So hopefully we'll see that in the near future too. And so that's my report.
Thank you, Member Pratt.
All right. Thanks. I'd like to second Holly with the e-bikes. We know there's a lot of concerns and issues. Hopefully come up with something to help law enforcement. See what comes of that. Thanks for meeting with us, Chief and Liam. Always a help. And since we're on the police topic, one of the officers that was with North Canton for a long time. Stanley Strasser, he passed away fairly recently, and he retired as a lieutenant. He was a detective for a long time. I think he started in dispatch when he was young, like in high school still, and kind of rose through the ranks. And he passed away. He was in Florida, and I only seen him maybe once or twice. But the first time I saw him, I'm like, who's this guy? I mean, he was in a suit. I mean, it was like top, and I just always had that image in my head. So just a huge loss. So, appreciate that. The other thing was with I guess Mr. Elkins. Just wanted to welcome you. I saw a video online, the YouTube viewing a construction site, and I just thought, you know, I was excited to see, you know, very hands-on it seemed, and just look forward to the experience and knowledge that you have, and your willingness to share that with us, hopefully. So, appreciate that. And I guess traffic with you know, summer school's out. It's nice to see that traffic is on everyone's mind. With the law enforcement rolling out this new plan, to be able to see, you know, where they're putting focus and whatnot. It's nice to see that traffic is their top priority of theirs. You know, like, you know, growing up, you pull into North Canton, it's like you go to speed limit because everyone knows that, you know, someone's gonna clock you. And so it's nice to see that we're still traffic focused. You know, I've always heard, you know, we had low speed limits because, you know, when there's lower speeds, there's less likelihood of fatality, bad accidents, things like that. And so I just think it's important that, you know, people are mindful of speed, and that we are trying to be more proactive. And so I appreciate the chief's mindfulness and leadership in that. And really, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. All right, Member Stacker.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. So first of all, thank you to Chief Kemp and to Jennifer and Liam for the presentation on Drive Safe North Canton and the data dashboard. My day job, I work in a very data-driven, very analytical environment, and it is phenomenal, frankly, that we are applying some of those same principles, especially Microsoft Power BI to public safety. I also applaud the decision to include these dashboards and make them available to the public. Much of the data that's there, and I've looked over the dashboards, most of it, a lot of it confirms what we kind of already knew, but there's also some pretty interesting surprises in there as well. And Chief, I truly appreciate the community-based approach that you and your force consistently take here in North Canton. It's very noteworthy, and it's frankly different than a lot of communities. So I would like to welcome Mr. Elkins. I am a fan of your past work in Green, and some of those ball fields are amazing, and the parks are great, and I'm looking forward to your continued leadership here in North Canton. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Good to have you. And then lastly, I wanted to shout out everyone who is involved with our zoning and code enforcement teams, including our volunteer residents who comprise the Zoning Board of Appeals. As council's non-voting representative or the liaison to the ZBOA, I can report that last week the ZBOA held their first meeting since last August. There were two issues before the board. There was one involving a resident asking for a variance for their driveway to accommodate a mobile home, motorhome, I should say. And another that was involving a signage variance request, and that was by a very long time retail establishment here in town. Having zoning standards is absolutely integral to our collective vision of what we what we want our community to be, what we want it to look and what we want it to feel like. But equally as important is a government that's in touch with its residents and its stakeholders. The process worked here. While both of these initial requests fell outside of the code, city's original code, the members of the ZBOA, they performed their due diligence by visiting or driving by each of the properties in question. And they determined that each request was in fact very reasonable and necessary. And they ultimately approved both requests. I just want to thank you for your work and for that matter, everybody that's involved with keeping our zoning standards what they are. So that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I guess we're on to me. I would also like to give again a huge welcome to Mike Elkins. I know how lucky we are to have you. I don't take that for granted at all that you were willing and are excited to come here and are going to help us get this plan implemented. So just really, really grateful for that. Kind of random, but I think it's worth mentioning that the Arrowhead Grill is open for dinner. I went yesterday, had lunch. I can tell you, I got a glass of wine. It was $5, and a salad for $13. I was like, this is amazing. I sat outside. It was beautiful. You're on the golf course, so I feel like we're frequently like, oh, we don't have a lot of restaurants, but I think we forget about Arrowhead. So encourage everyone to go out there. And then Chief Kemp, Jennifer, Liam, I'm sitting here thinking like, when I met you, Chief Kemp, you were Sergeant Kemp working film nights with me. And Jennifer, when I met you, you were working the front desk at City Hall. And Liam, when I met you, you were an intern. And I was a young council person that never would have been brave enough to sit up here and run a meeting. So the fact that y'all are doing the work that you're doing and that I'm sitting here tonight, I don't know, it just feels very full circle. And so I'm grateful for all of the work that you're doing. And I'm grateful to everyone for bearing with me as we went through this meeting tonight. Okay, move on to the final call for new business. Okay, seeing none, I will make a motion to enter into an executive session for the purpose of discussing the purchase or sale of property as permitted by ORC 121.22G2. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call vote?
Member Beartall,
Yes.
Member Orr,
Yes.
Member Wyrick,
Yes.
Thing is absent. Member McLeister,
Yes.
Member Pratt.
Yes.
Member Stalker.
Yes.
6 in favor, 0 opposed.
Okay, at this time, council is in executive session. Let the record reflect. Council will be joined by the directors of administration, the director of law, the directors of finance, the parks planning and development administrator, the clerk of council, and the mayor.
Yep.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn from executive session?
Motion, I make that motion.
And can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote?
Oh, it's just simple
just
majority to adjourn.
Simple majority. Oh, I'm down here. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, I did so well till now. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we are adjourned from executive session. So our meetings calendar, we are here June 8th for committee of the whole. June 15th, we have council of public speaks. June 22nd, committee of the whole, and then June 29th, no meeting because it is the 5th Monday. I don't think there's anything else, right?
Nope.
Okay, did I let the record reflect that no action was taken in executive session?
You
Can we
have
do
now
that
let the
still?
record reflect.
Okay, all right, I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?